The easiest shortcut to become enlightened is to study Buddha's teachings and his biography, to know his way of living and imitate the Buddha's sublime way of living, his way of thinking, speaking, and doing things, the behavior. The imitation of a sublime life is good. You imitate by admiring the Buddha's life. It is better to admire and imitate the sublime life of Buddha than to admire world-famous terrorists. For example, like Prabhakaran, Hitler, etc., who were world-renowned, world-condemned terrorists. The entire world, not only the followers of the Buddha, but even non-followers, admire the Buddha's life, the Buddha's words, the Buddha's teachings, because his teaching has a universal application for the good of the people. His way of living as well as his way of advising others to live is given in the Buddha's canon, Buddhist canon, in several occasions, saying not only the Buddha but even his followers who imitate the Buddha, they live Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya, Attaya Hitaya, Lokanukampaya. They live for the benefit or the good of the others. They lead a benevolent life. Leading a benevolent life is conducive to final enlightenment. When you lead a good life, you become less selfish, more unselfish. Ultimately, when you reach the esteem-winning stage called Sotapanna in Pali, when you start the path to Nibbana, directly going there without any vacillation, without any deviation, and that stage is called Sotapannata, Sotapannahood, or the esteem-winning stage. Up to that point, you have to make some effort to prevent from the evil tendencies in your mind, the subconscious, in your genes. There are a lot of evil tendencies both in our mind and body. Body inherits through genetic engineering all the evil nature of our ancestors. for millions and millions of years. Like animals, like savages, like devils, being harmful not only to others but even to himself. And those tendencies are in us. To refrain from the evil influences of our mental and physical tendencies is the first step in leading a good life, a sublime life, like that of the Buddha and his disciples. Imitating their lives, the lives of the Buddha and the Buddha's disciples, is benevolent not only to oneself but even to others. Because you don't do any harm to others. However, to be enlightened, you have to get rid of all your desires. The enlightenment is called tanhakaya, cessation of all desires. Cessation of the root of all desires called tanha. The search for pleasure, seeking pleasure, that is the main aim of the cult called tanha, thirst for pleasure. Enlightened ones live for the good of the others, like the nature, expecting nothing in return. The sun gives us light and heat, expecting nothing in return. The clouds bring us rain, expecting nothing in return. Winds push clouds to bring rain to desert areas, unfertile areas. All the plants, the trees and creepers and all the plants, absorb all the carbon dioxide that we emanate personally and through our engines. And in turn, they produce oxygen that is very useful to us, very essential for us, and emanate oxygen, expecting nothing in return. The plants, the trees, the creepers, the plants, they give us fruit, they give us flowers, they give us honey, they give us vegetable, they give us yams, they give us wood, they give us firewood, expecting nothing in return. The rivers, streams, they bring water, expecting nothing in return. The entire nature, made out of the universal energy, is benevolent, full of love, altruistic love, expecting nothing in return, doing good to others. Therefore, following the enlightened ones who have harmonized their lives with the nature, being benevolent, is an important step on our path to enlightenment, to get enlightened. But even in getting enlightened, there are three main types of enlightenment. The Buddhas, Samma Sambuddhas, they get enlightened without the help of anybody else, on their own, independently. not only for their good, but also for the good of the others, to make others enlightened. There are another type of Buddhas called silent Buddhas in English. They are called Pacceka Buddha in Pali. They too get enlightened on their own without the help of anybody, any teacher, but they cannot enlighten others. Very rarely we get the Samma Sambuddhas who get enlightened by themselves and make others also to get enlightened. Very rarely. But we may get few Pacceka Buddhas, the silent Buddhas, who get enlightened on their own, but who won't be able to help others to get enlightened. Majority of us get enlightened with the help of an enlightened one called Buddha. Listening to his teaching, reading his teaching, studying his teachings, following the methods he has shown, and also imitating his sublime, noble way of living. Imitating a sublime being like a Buddha is good. It's better than imitating a terrorist, a robber, a thief, a murderer, a wicked person, a selfish person. By imitating a sublime one, you too become gradually sublime. And that is the easiest way for majority of us who cannot get enlightened by themselves to follow the enlightened one called Buddha and his teaching to get enlightened. But in that, there is a point we may not admire very much. Majority of the people desire to get enlightened under a Buddha. They want to get enlightened to escape worldly suffering and enjoy the bliss of nirvana, the bliss of enlightenment. And they know they can, even if they get enlightened following the Buddha, his teachings, his biography, his directions, a disciple enlightened one cannot enlighten others. Therefore, there seems to be a selfish, self-centered motive in those people who imitate a Buddha to become enlightened, who follow Buddha or his teaching to get enlightened. Therefore, a sect of Buddhist followers called Mahayanis, the follower of the great vehicle that many can travel, that is becoming Buddha and making others also to get enlightened. They think the Theravada Hinayana is our vehicle of a low state where only one can travel. Hinayana means small vehicle, sufficient for only one person. Mahayana means a big vehicle where many can travel. Their idea is to become a Buddha is better than to be a disciple Buddha and get selfishly enlightened without being able to help others. But naturally, Majority are not strong enough physically, mentally, character-wise, with their tendencies to get enlightened on their own. Therefore, they are only escape from the worldly suffering is to get enlightened with the help of a Buddha, where only one can get enlightened without enlightening others, like the Buddha has done, who has enlightened millions and millions. Even after the Buddha's passing away, for the last more than 2,500 years, many have got enlightened following the Buddha's teaching and imitating Buddha's way of life, the sublime way of life. And that is the shortest cut to enlightenment, though it appears to be selfish. They appear to be selfish on reasons beyond their control, on conditions beyond their control. They are naturally not strong enough in their mind and body to be enlightened on their own without the help of somebody else. It is their natural weakness that make them to take the shortest cut possible. And that is a wise way, in fact, though it need be of much benefit to others, getting only oneself benefited by imitating and following a Buddha. But if you look at the nature is benevolent universally, provide universally. Nature is for our good. It is nothing but the nature that can enlighten even a Buddha. Enlightenment is a natural phenomenon. It is not the Siddhartha Gautama that became a Buddha on his own, but he was also meant to be enlightened by the nature. Nature is our greatest teacher. And the nature has provided us three paths to enlightenment. One is to get enlightened with the help of Buddha, the easiest way to do it. And majority are following that path. The other is to become a silent Buddha, get enlightened on one's own without the help of others, but not strong enough to make others enlightened. They are called silent Buddhas. They cannot teach the path to enlightenment. Then really we get in the nature the perfectly enlightened ones called Buddhas, who get enlightened on their own and who can enlighten others too by their teaching. Even in our normal day-to-day life, you can find these three types of people. There are some, majority, to do anything they need somebody else's help. They can't live on their own can't do many things without somebody else's help. And when they get enlightened, they also get enlightened as a disciple Buddha, imitating a Buddha. There are some who don't help others. They mind their own business without helping others, without interfering in others' affairs. And they become silent Buddhas. They get enlightened on their own, but cannot enlighten others. Very rarely we may come across persons who are always out to help others, who are benevolent, who are very kind-hearted, who enjoy helping others. Such noble beings will ultimately become enlightened as perfect Buddhas, Samma Sambuddhas, and would help others. They don't imitate others, no imitation. Even the silent Buddha, they don't imitate others, other Buddhas. They are original Buddhas. Those who imitate enlightened ones are duplicate Buddhas. There can be an original enlightenment as well as a duplicate enlightenment. Majority are capable of only the duplicate enlightenment. It is better to be enlightened than not to be, even as a duplicated enlightened one.